I think the thing that is the biggest challenge that we're facing right now is our lack of ability to put ourselves in another person's shoes. We no longer think in terms of the middle, we think in terms of the polar opposite. And we are blind, in fact, to any other perspectives than our own. And that can create a very, very scary world when it comes down to terrorism, it comes down to global geopolitical conflicts, it comes down to economics and trade wars, nationalism, protectionism, isolationism. And I see that not only at a governmental and sovereign level, but I personally am starting to see that now also between corporations. I see it as well from individuals, and where you have these massive polarities. So overcoming this notion of duality or polarity to the extreme that it has become, I think is going to become one of the very, very important next sort of hot topics for what it means to be a human being going forward. First of all, we believe very strongly in data privacy and as well data sovereignty. And I think one of the new dimensions of what it means to be a human being is that we kind of live this digital life as well. And there are a lot of privacy concerns around this. And I don't think consumers really know that they have choices to be able to protect themselves and to kind of extend the scope of what it means to be a human being. For so many centuries, we have been human doings, I think, more than human beings. One of the great things I love about this conference here is that we're talking about what it means to be a human being and the expanded scope and higher dimension of what it means to be a human being in the future. So we really want to be able to bring data sovereignty to the world. And we think that that is going to be an important step for the next evolution of human beings. If you think about the whole evolution, right, of mankind and civilization over the last, 10,000 or so years that we have recorded history, it's only been a short amount of time that the focus and emphasis has really been solely on the doing part rather than the evolving and being part. And I believe that unless you start to put a stake in the ground and say, look, this is what we think it means to be a human being, that there is empathy, that there is a future that we should be trying to help other human beings, and that is part of the definition of human being rather than just human doing. I think that forums like this one actually allow for that kind of discourse to happen. And that discourse, like art imitating life, becomes the imitation or the future that we create as a result of that discourse. If you don't have the discourse, you'll never be able to plot the future. You'll never be able to chart a path for where you want to go as a species. And that doesn't sound like a very nice world to me.